right, let's get right into it. Episode 20. The three fallacies of identity. Let's just rattle them off: productivity, possession, and people's perception. Now, other than the fact that they all start with P, and so that should be easier for you to remember, I wish I learned this in grade school. I wish I learned this the second I got self-conscious and I was around people and I had self-worth issues. But the self-worth issues were on the basis of these three. It's the question of being. Now, I didn't just come up with this, folks. There's actually a story in the good book, the Bible. There's a story here. It's with Jesus, and he gets tempted by the devil in three different dimensions. Now, I'm not going to do a sermon on that. I'm going to give you the cliff notes so you get the idea. Because the last thing I want you to do is think I'm trying to convert you or what. No, that's not my agenda. I want you to understand a fundamental principle here, and then if you like that, then read it for yourself and like, oh, this book's got some good stuff into it. I'm giving you the cliff notes of cliff notes here. So, why is he getting tempted? The Spirit led him. There's so many things I can go down, rabbit holes I can go down of, but let's just focus on what needs to be focused on. So the Holy Spirit led Jesus into the wilderness after he's been fasting for 40 days. Now he's being tempted in his weakest point. But notice how each temptation is on the basis of who he is. So the first one, hey, turn this stone to bread. And he's like, it is written. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to recite the whole scripture here, folks. Now, the first one was, turn this stone to bread. Wait a second. Why is that bad? Well, what's the big deal? The brother is hungry. Well, it is because having a need, that's not the problem. How you go about satisfying the need is the problem. Using your powers to get what you want is bad. For example, let's say both of us have $20, and you tell me I got it because I cut the lawn and my dad gave me $20. And then it's like, well, why do you have $20? Oh, because I robbed this feller. It's like, now wait a second. Productivity. But what does this have to do with identity, Andre? I'm glad you asked. Hopefully we're not going off tangents here. It's so easy because you can preach literally probably days, weeks of messages just from this topic alone. But when it deals with identity, I'll just give you an example of how easy it is just to vacillate between that stuff, man. Productivity. How many people do you know where they say, I'm a doctor? In fact, that's one of the first things they do. Hello, what's your name? My name is so-and-so, and I do blank. Interesting how the first thing that we focus on is, what's your name and what do you do? It gives me a gauge of who I'm talking to, right? Are you a Burger King employee? Don't sue me, Burger King. Are you a librarian? Are you a nurse? Are you a doctor? If you're a doctor, now I really got to give you respect because I have to call you Dr. So-and-so. See what's happening here? But also we need to understand that this is the byproduct of living in a Western culture, right? In other societies, what I like about the Latino community is that they have a high value for family. Whereas the Western culture is like, oh, you're 18 years old, get out of my house. It's like, damn, why did you even have a kid in the first place? why? Dang, man, why? Why did you have a child in the first place if you're going to do that to them? That's kind of wild, but I digress. The Western culture, my point is, the value is productivity, individuality, even at the expense of other people. But I digress. So we have to factor that into the equation. The next one, actually, let me finish that off. Why is that a bad idea to make that your identity? Because what happens if you're not a doctor? In fact, I'll give you an example. In one of our studies, one of our teachings, one of our groups, I remember someone said, hey, I have somebody and she's a brain surgeon, but she's sick. She has some type of problem with her heart. We got to pray for her because we need her. And I thought to myself, wait a second now. if she wasn't a brain surgeon, we still need her. But for some reason, we have allowed a person's profession to justify their value as a person. And there are some truth to that in regards to the financial realm and our perception. However, the reason why this is not healthy is because, so if I'm not that person, my life is meaningless. Yikes. In fact, you guys remember 9/11? I believe there was a reporter and he literally said, wow, that plane was heading to Washington, D.C. I bet there were some important people on there. As the plane, nosedive into the Twin Towers and they're all dead. And it's like, well, wait a second. What about the mom and the daughter and all those other people? Like, were they not important? And it's a laughing matter because it's like, look at how our minds are wired to that and how the fallacy behind that. Look how we talk about ourselves. Oh, I have this degree, I have this, and I have that. And it's like, okay, but what will you have in 50 years? You can't take it with you in the grave, my friend. I want to hammer this point because, see, if you miss this, your life will either get very better or it can get really bad. You don't believe me? Check out the Asian community. Asians, they have the highest rate of suicide. Well, why? Because of expectations. People have been pounding into their skulls, oh, if you get this degree and get this job and be top of your class, you will be successful and be happy and be fulfilled. And they're like, so if I don't do that, my life is worthless. Oh my goodness, man. I haven't gotten to the other two. We're already 7 minutes in. Well, hopefully that gets those gears turning. So you already understand why that's a bad idea. Also, things change. What if you retire? What are you now? I'm a retired doctor. Oh, I guess you're useless then, aren't you? Or what if you get into a crazy accident? A lot of what ifs, right? But they're real for some people. You get sick. You get into a crazy accident. What happens then? Well, I guess my identity's shattered. I go through a state of depression. Some people go through that. What if you get laid off? What if, here's a term that I noticed that's coined in our society, I'm an empty nester. Yeah, that means you had 3 kids and then you finally moved out the house. You should be celebrating. Isn't it funny how some people's celebration is their mourning? There's one people that are like, thank God he's out the house. And some people are like, oh my God, they're out the house. Isn't that crazy? How things happen to us all relatively the same, and yet it's how we choose to perceive it that determines much of our fulfillment, our happiness, emotions. Kind of strange, right? All right. The second one. So, Jesus is doing his thing. Second temptation. And it says, I may have got these out of the order, but you get the idea. It's like, all right, hey, if you're really the Son of God. Now notice that phrase there. He says, are you the Son of God? He didn't say anything else. Like he's the snake, the serpent, the devil, etc. is predicating your own negative thoughts. Let that sink in. Is telling him, if you're really the guy, if you're really Jesus, if you're really the guy, then you should have possession of all these kingdoms of the world. If you're really the man, you should have 3 cars. If you're really the man, you should have a girlfriend and two you keep on the say. If you're really the man, if you're really the guy, you should have XYZ possession thing. You should have a Rolex. You should have a Jaguar. You should have blank. You should have this. Now, you can have those things, just don't let those things have you. Why should that be the basis of your identity? And you will notice in the previous chapters, if you read that far, let me give you some cliff notes. But the heavens opened up when Jesus got baptized. And the heavens said, God's like, yo, this is my beloved son who I'm well pleased. Now, wait a second now. Read it if I'm wrong. But Jesus hasn't done anything yet. Jesus hasn't even healed one leper. He hasn't even healed a blind person. He hasn't even had his clothes touched by a woman with the issue of blood. This is just some dude who got baptized by John the Baptist. And the heavens say, oh, this is my beloved son who I'm well pleased. Like, this boy hasn't done anything yet. I would argue when you were born, your parents were well pleased with you and you haven't even done anything yet. Isn't it ironic that the most confident people in our society are actually babies? They don't even do anything. They just roll around, crap their own pants, don't even have a job, and yet they are the most fulfilled, happy, curious, I would say, quote unquote, from the last video, self actualized individuals. They may not have self transcendency, but they got that part down. Curiosity was part of self actualization, which is interesting to me. That's something only a child would have, or you're an adult, but you really got to have that anchored down into your spirit. Now, that is possession. Now, why is possession a bad one? You'll notice that all three of these things have something fundamentally common with them. They're very easy to get and very easy to change. Or maybe let me rephrase that. They're very difficult to get and very easy to lose, which is ironic. Kingdoms come and kingdoms go. If I have a car, what if I lose it? If I have this, what if I lose it? And if you lose it, then what do you have? Well, I guess you lose your identity. You have nothing. Do not allow your identity to be on the basis of things that can be easily changed. That's a really bad idea. That's why people go through depression. I would argue that because you allowed your self-image to be on the basis of stuff that changes every day, easily. What's weird to me is, especially relationships, when people are like, oh my goodness, people, basically relationships, some people's relationships are like possessions. They will literally just think, oh, my girlfriend's gone, so therefore have you ever seen those videos? Which, I'm not making fun of these people. That is always strange to me how people will make people possessions. If you really think about it from the fundamental value of that statement, oh, my girlfriend's gone, oh, my dad's gone, oh, my cat's gone, they reduce these creatures, these humans, to possession. And I know they did because the basis of their issue is founded on, oh, that inconveniences me. Never mind the fact that they have cancer. Never mind the fact they're the one that suffered. Never mind the fact they're the ones that are gone. The Bible says you should rejoice when people leave and be sorry when they're here. We got it backwards. But more importantly, it's like, shouldn't you be happy that they're going somewhere better? Oh, wait, that's right, because you don't believe in that. So then it's just an inconvenience to you. Not so much that it's, first of all, their life wasn't yours to begin with. I'll get more personal, but my brother told me, look, Andre, your dad, yeah, sure, he's old and death and people pass away and that's loss and it sucks. But the reality of it is their life is not yours to decide how long they be here. And besides, who decides that? Who has the power to do that? Who has the authority? Oh, your dad gets 5 more years. Your sister gets this many more years, and your girlfriend, she's blah blah blah. Like as if I'm God. Like I have the sovereignty for that. You see how that's a very illogical fallacy there. Possession. Your identity is on the basis of what you have, and if things are lost to you, now you're sad. Maybe you should let your being be anchored on something that cannot be easily taken. And the last one. Oh my goodness, I think everyone in high schools, before they enter high school, got to hear this one. This one is perception. So Jesus gets to the highest mountain, and I guess this one would be pride. The devil's like, yo, if you're really the Son of God, then jump off this mountain and let your angels save you, so the world can see, like, oh my goodness, this guy's for Rizzle, that's him, all right. Convince people. Perception. If people believe you're the guy, you must be the guy. Then he basically says, don't tempt the Lord, etc. But let's focus on that. Perception. There's also another Bible verse where it says, the same ones that said Hosanna, the king, also said, crucify him. In other words, you cannot rely on the accolades of people. People don't even like themselves half the day. And you want them to like you. They don't even like themselves. You made that your goal. I believe it was Bill Cosby who said, I don't know the key to your success, but I do know the key to your failure, and that is to get everybody to like you. The second you make that your goal, Your objective is to convince everybody to like you, and you don't even like yourself. You see how stupid that sounds? Perception. People's perception of themselves are compromised, but yet you want them to have a good perception of you? It's over, my friend. So, the 3 fallacies of identity. Well, Andre, that's nice. Those are the 3 problems. What's the solution? The solution? The solution is you're going to have to find an anchor for your soul. And I don't know what that anchor is. I can't answer that for you. I can tell you that I anchor my being in who I am, and that I take steps forward. I guess I'm not sure if you can call curiosity a religion, but progress and asking questions. I think that's pretty good. Let me say it this way. If the you tomorrow is greater than the you today, why are you discouraged? Just keep pushing forward. Why do you have despair? Why are you scared? It only indicates to me that you're probably, well, you lost faith and hope in yourself or the world. And then the next question is, why is that? What experiences have told you or convinced you of that? Because I don't think you come out the womb with that conclusion. But I digress. I'm not your therapist. These are things you're going to have to get some help for. Or I would recommend read some books and listen to some audios by Les Brown. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff on the internet that you can find that can help you. But the problem is, are you taking the time to find it? Or are you just hoping it finds you? I hope it finds you, but in the meantime, you should better try to find it. You better go to that self-development section of the bookstore. They still got bookstores, but it's out there. You got to find it. Or pick up that Bible. It's pretty good too. Listen to sermons. I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know your problems. And I don't think it's my objective to fix them. I think it's my objective to inform you that they can be fixed should you commit yourself to the cause of yourself. And you do matter. Because without you, we lose one more brain in the collective consciousness of this world, and your brain might be the brain that makes the difference for another brain that can make the difference for all of us. You never know. You ever heard this phrase called the unsung hero? They're the characters that help the hero. I know we talk about Tony Stark, but I say the unsung hero would probably be Pepper, right? Think about the unsung heroes throughout other hero stories. We talk about Batman. Batman's the hero of Gotham. But you know who's Batman's hero? It was Gorman, because he's a good cop, and it was Alfred, right? There you go. But no one talks about these. No one dresses up as Alfred the butler. But if it wasn't for Alfred, Batman, Bruce Wayne would have perished a long time ago. So let that think. Don't just focus on the main characters. Focus on the characters that help the main character. We all don't have to be the main character. There's no indictment in your value as a person as that. I know, I feel like I'm going off a tangent off of what I was trying to say, but the fallacies of your identity. What's my identity then? Well, I don't know. But maybe if you help enough people, maybe you'll find out. Help enough people beyond yourself, you'll find out. You'll probably get the answer. Help other people get the answers in their life, and maybe one day you may find the answers in your own. In the meantime. Well, that's all I got. So, I'll talk to you laters. Have a blessed day.